This conference will now be recorded.
So, like in the architecture neutral, today I compiled the one code called just I write an application like Spring. Some example I wrote it, and after 2 days my operating system was updated, and some changes happen in our operating system. So now again I'm trying to run the previous code which is I compiled earlier. So what's going to happen? Because based on the operating system compatibility, so the code may not corrupted, so we need to execute so what we compiled earlier, that is in day before or it is in last year, it is in so so many days, so that is taken care by these features. And so how high performance we are getting here, because internally the main important concept here is going to taken care of the JVM. So here the JVM is going to convert the coding, so like it is in bytecode, and and is going to add some more information. So we will see how the JVM is going to work, and one day we will discuss. So what is the like internal architecture about the JVM, and how the JVM, the flow of execution also we can identify. And the last one called it is then a distributed. So using these distributed features, so we can develop the so like URL based application, RMI related application we can develop. So nowadays totally they are into the URL based applications. So these are the main features are available in Java. And so as of now, if you have any queries, you can ask me. So otherwise, I will start a simple program. How it's look like. Okay. Uh, so before going to run our application, so first I need to like open Notepad. Inside the Notepad, what I'm doing here. So simply I'm defining class called example. So example, and so I'm not writing anything here. Simply I'm writing. So first I'm going to write. After that I will explain. So all like the flow of execution and what are the keywords and what are the access files we will see here. So this is message I want to print on the console. So see. So before going to run this example, this is then a keyword. Okay. So this is then a keyword. So this is defined by the Java Sun Micro people. To specify the particular class information, we need to use the class keyword. And what is here example? This is a class name of the particular class. So we need to define and we need to have some like fully qualified name we need to use. So that's the reason I'm using the example as a class name. And here, what is here public? So public here in a like here it is an access specifier we can call it as. So using this public access specifier, so we can restrict some of the data, so the data it needs to hide to the some other persons or we need to show to the other, so out of the program, so based on the priorities we can use the public, and it is exactly opposite we have one private. So what's going to do is going to restrict the entire code, so the code cannot be seen by others. So this is the way the public is going to use here. And static. So why we need to use static? So the static is going to provide information call, like the object is not going to create it for our the particular example class. So at first time, so without creating an object also, we can call the particular main method, right? So for this purpose, I'm like we declare the keyword call static, right? So So just you can understand this is a simple way. If you are getting any confusion, don't worry. So because these steps we are going to discuss number of times, right? And this is the void. Void is a written type of the particular method. What is the method here? It is a main method. So the main method is not going to return anything. So we can return void or object or reactive wrapper classes or user defined classes. So we can define based on our requirement, but this main method is not going to return anything. So that's the reason. So we are providing as a void. And so these are the parameters we are going to call. And these parameters, as of now, we are not passing anything. So if you are passing any parameters from the command line, so using this, we can access those parameters, right? And this just simply, I'm trying to print one message on the console. So, so like this is an class system is an a predefined class, and this is an out reference. Out in the sense, so we have in Java two classes: file input stream and file output stream. So out is the reference of file output stream. So like here, the output stream is created. So this is the way the object is already created. So that the object, this is an out we are using as a reference to print, like call the particular method of the println, and whatever the message we are writing inside the particular method, so the message is going to like print on the console. So whether it is in the command prompt, it is in any IDs, so wherever we want to print, we can use. So this is the simple the like program. And so once we like write in a simple code, we need to save this file. I'm like taking into the document section. I'm going to write new folder called Java programming language. That's Java programming is fine. And inside the Java programming, so what I'm doing here, so we need to save, sorry, we need to use the file name as a class name. Because so why we need to use, I will explain. So like example, we need to add some extension also dot java, so that the Java compiler is identified, name of the file and the extension. Based on these two is going to compile. So why we need to write the example as a class name? So we are going to use Java C as a command. Using that is going to check the particular file name as a class name is available or not. At compile time, it's not like the compile is successfully happened, but at runtime, so the main method is available in the particular class. The class is not identified by the JVM. So for these cases, we need to write the simple like class name as a file name. So just use example.java and save. And once we save, and before going to run the example, first we need to see whether the Java is installed or not in our system. How we can see? Simply you can use Java command. So some of the messages you are able to see, like the Java is already installed. And if you want to see Java C, the command is like configured to the particular variable, like environment variable or not. So using Java C, we can use, and this is also configured. But some people they are getting an exception, like so Java C is not internal recognized. Some error we are going to find. So once you find, what you need to do, go to your PC and click on right click on the PC and go to property. So use advanced system setting and use the environment variable. So here you need to add two things. So one is Java home you need to add. So up to JDK 1.8 we need to add. So where it is available. So like in the C drive program files, Java JDK. So up to here, we need to add as a Java home directory. So once you add, and we have another one called path. So we need to set the path. Let me edit. So here, if you observe, program files, Java, JDK, and bin. So inside the bin, the Java C command is available. So we need to add the up to bin in a path variable. So these two steps we need to write so that the command is going to work. And if you want to know the version of the Java version, so we can use Java hyphen version. So what is the version we are using currently? It is an 1.8. So we are using 1.8 version. So these steps we need to identify whether the Java is installed in our system or not. So once we identify the Java is installed, now go to like copy the and we need to move to the particular directory. So where the example file is available. TD is a change directory, and so before we are available at Yadav, now we are moved to the Java programming. So just simply no. Okay. Again, I'm opening CD paste. So now we are at Java programming. Use Java C, and what is the name of our class name? Example dot Java. So before going to run, so where is the file? Here we are finding only one, the folder name called, the file name called example. So once we compile, we will identify one more file is going to added here. So let me compile. So the compile is successful. So while compiling your code, so if you are getting any exceptions or error, so here you are able to identify what kind of exception or error we find and go to the directory. Now if you observe, so one extra file is added like it is in a class file. So if you open this dot class file is having the bytecode related information. So this bytecode is converted by who? The JVM. JVM is going to work as a intermediate because as a this the Java and operating system. So the JVM is going to work intermediate. So based on that, the example here it is in a class name of the same name is going to taken added into the particular dot class file. To recognize the particular dot class file, so they are going to add the same file name as a dot class file name. And once we compile Java, when we need to use example is a class name we need to use. So if we observe, we are finding welcome to Java language. So this is the message we provided on our example here. So the same message we are printing on our command point. So this is the way we can write a simple example. So these are all about the basic syntax we can call it as. So as of now, if you have any queries, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will move to I am going to provide one more example. See, so please you need to respond so that you are listening while so simply you are attending the class, you are not going to get anything. So you need to interact with me so that I can identify where exactly so you have an issue or really you are learning or what I'm explaining you are going to get or not, so I can understand. Okay, so I'm going to write one more example. So using some arithmetic, some additions or arithmetic operation. Let me write here So here class name call, what we can do, example2, and the same I'm defining. So instead of args, I'm using test. Instead of args, I'm using test right now. See, now it's going to work or not, we will see. And I'm using into num. This is an variable I'm using here. And what I'm doing here, num is equal, so I'm adding some value. And after that, I'm trying to print on the particular value. Uh, Number value. So for that, what I'm doing here is equals to num is equals to num into 2. After after adding some value. So after adding some value, what is the number value? So we are finding, like we are printing on the right. So this is a different example. So I think now you are going to get some doubts. So what these two lines is going to work, because now what I'm doing here, I'm taking one reference. So like it is an variable. I'm taking in a variable. What is the type here? It is an int type. So in Java we have different types of like primitive types available. So one is int, float, double, boolean, char. Okay, long. Anything I miss? Okay, so these are the primitive data types. So this is already available. So now what's going to do? So int is going to store some like integer values as the numbers, but for float is going to store what types? Like floating information. Floating information call 10.03, right? So 10.03, some these real this kind of information, like this kind of values is going to stored by the float. So before you like if you are using the primitive type, so we need to use it after like end of the particular value, we need to use f, and same as is going to use 10.3, but the f is not available at double, and the boolean it's going to use true or false. So like these are the two values is going to use here, and characters are is going to use some a b c like. So these are the single values are is going to use here, and long same value is going to use, but we are going to add as an l the end of the particular value. So these are the primitive types are available. So not only primitive types, we are having some wrapper classes. So same thing called integer on float, boolean, characters. So right. So these are the wrapper classes. If we observe, so all the first letter is starting with an capital letters. So easily we can identify. So these are the wrapper classes, and these are the primitive data types. So using this, we can create an object, but just we can assign the values into this primitive data types, right? So we will have a one class. So for the basic understanding, I will like implement like provided these two information here, right? So for same using the number is going to store as a what type? It is then a into type. So at this line, just I'm declaring the particular variable, and at the second line I am initializing the values as a 100. So just if you are using single equals, so what's going to define here? So whatever the value is available at right side, so the value is going to append it like added into the assign into the num variable. So this is nothing but assigning the values into the particular variable, and just simply I am printing the value. After like multiplying the some values, again I am trying to print the changes values, right? So this is the way the second example how it's going to work we need to identify. So save example one dot java all files and do save. So let me go to same thing we need to use example one dot java. So now we are not getting any errors. So if you observe anything, because at line number, oh, it's not showing. This line only we added some semicolon, because each if the line is going to end, we need to add semicolon. So the compiler can identify. So the line is ended here. If you're not if you're not adding any semicolons here, so see what's going to happen here. Again, if we change anything of the particular file, we need to recompile our code. So recompile the code. So if you observe here, we are like getting some exception here, error information call. So example one, Java, line number, this is the 5 means it is the line number 5. We are getting an error call, semicolon is expected, where it is expecting after the num it is expecting this some semicolon, right? So this is the way you are going to see some errors information on our command prompt when we are running the simple example now. And if we add multiple also, anything is here, we are going to see anything like error information. No, we are not going to see any error information, because if you are adding multiple semicolons, so there is going to the compiler is going to ignore. So it's going to take use only one. The remaining part, the semicolons are ignored. And do example one. So this is the way we need to run our application. If you observe, number value is 100. After adding, the number value become 200, right? So using the multiplication, the values change. So how the values changed? First, we need to see here. Like, let me write here. First, I created int num. After that, int num is equals to 100, right? So after adding the value, again what we are doing, num is equals to num 2, right? So here, if you observe, so whenever the class is compiled, the class is trying to execute. So we have the two types of memory allocations in Java. Two types of memory allocations. So one is this is the static memory, and this is a heap memory. So like a class level variables are going to store in the heap memory, but so we used only the method level variables here. So these are the method level variables. So these method level variables comes under the static blocks. So the static block here, inside the static block, how it's going to work? First is going to have some space to the particular number. We have some space with a particular number, and at line number, the line is some, for example, it is the 1 and it is the 2 and this is the 3 line. So once the line number 1 is executed, so the variable is created in the stack memory like this, and after line number 2 is executed, the value is added as an 100, right? As in 100, and after the line number 2 is executed, line number 3, sorry, line number 3 is executed, the 100 is becomes to 200. So these the values changing operation is done in our static memory only, and once the line number 4 in the sense we have the closing curly braces of the particular main method, right? So once the particular curly braces is executed, the static block is destroyed by the garbage collector, so right. So this is the like it is then a some specific time only the static garbage collector is static memory is available. So the heap memory is available up to the based on the references collected by the garbage collector, then only the heap memory is going to remove, right? So once the method is executed, so that we cannot find the static memory here, right? So this is the way the particular objects are going to store in our stack memory and heap memory. And let me see here. I'm trying to access the particular variable. I'm trying to access the particular variable of now. So let me remove now. So we are going to get some error information. The number is not declared, not identified. Some message we are finding here. So let me run. Let me compile Java compile. See. So these many errors you observed because 8 errors we are finding here. Identifier is expected. Illegal. So we have different types of error messages are available here. So identifier expected and illegal state of type, closing accepted, semicolon accepted, number accepted. These many types we are expecting. Why? So because whatever these information we provided inside the main method. So this is the main method opening braces and this is the closing braces. So we whatever we write inside the main method, so we can access within the main method. But this is the line is out of the main method. So that's the reason we are getting an exception. And if you define here, at class level, and if you compile, like recompile, so still we are getting an error. Why we are getting an error? Well, we are having the different like same variable information. Use number 1, right? Um, reached out of the file while pausing. Okay, something. Okay, can I'm moving to this as a notepad plus plus. Okay. Into num1 and num1 system.out.println right. Okay. Any error like PC documents Java programming example 1 save Let me recompile. Still we are getting errors. We are identify expected number values is correct.
Hi Suresh, I hope you did not initialize the variable.
Just actually I am thinking that one only, but here we did not finding anything. So let's type the initialization part like 10. No. Evaluate data type. Let's check. Okay. Let me comment. Let me try because this is only for anything. Yes. What is mistake here? Oh, reach here. Okay. I will update you because the code, everything what we defined is correct only, but I need to test. So where we, I think I didn't miss anything, but still we are getting some exception. Sorry. Close, open. Anything. No. Okay, I need to check this error message, but why it is getting? Because what we define is perfect. Like as per standard, we define correct only, and we will see. So as of now, if you have any queries, you can ask me. Okay, so let me. So please, like ignore this particular line. I will update you tomorrow because why it's getting an error, and I'm moving to the another example using the loop concept. So how we can like iterate that the particular values if you have more than one value. So we have some like collection of object. So we want to iterate one by one. So how we can use and before going to loops, we will see first like conditions point. We have two conditions are available. So one is if and one more is else condition, right? So these are the two conditions available. If condition is satisfied, the else block is not going to execute, and if it is not satisfied, the else block is going to execute. But here, whatever the message, like what is the condition we are writing, what is the condition we are writing? So the condition is going to return as a boolean type. If the boolean is true, then only what is the message, like how many lines of code we define inside the if condition is going to execute. So if the condition is false, so it come to the else block, and the else block is going to execute. So this is the way we can define some conditional block. So and we have like two types of greater than and greater than or equals, and we can use less than or equals, and we can use equals. Using this also we can use some condition like 100. So what happened? 100 greater than 50, or if it is condition is true, then only the condition is going to execute. All else we can use greater than or equal. So same as, so we can use the equal also here, right? So same way we can use less than or equals, right? So whatever based on our requirement, we need to use these many condition blocks. So one is greater than or equals, and less than or equal, and the last one is called equals, right? So first we will see this example. So here only I am writing the if condition. If num greater than 100 or 200, just see first I will write here. So just print on the num value, else the message also less than 200. Right. So these are the two conditions. So based on our requirement, the condition is going to execute. So we will see and we'll go to command prompt, execute. My God. Okay, it's compiled successfully. So before I use the number outside of the particular main method. So that's the reason we got these many exceptions. So use Java example 1, and the number value is 100. The number values first time is 100, and after valuing that, after adding the values 200, number value is less than 200. So why? Because the if condition is false, so the else block is executed here. Let me open. So number how much is in a 200, and what is the value we given here? 200. 200 is greater than 200 or not? So if the condition is written false, because the 200 is not greater than, those are equal values. So that's the reason the else block condition is executed. If you give space here, so we can easily recognize. Right, because of condition failure, so we are finding the else block execution. Now we can observe easily. Let me move. So here we can observe number value is less than 200. So not only this, if you are using equals so number value how much is 200. Now this message is executed because this condition is satisfied. So this is the way we can add some conditional, and not only this, if we are having the inner if condition, we can write call else if, and you can write some more another condition. So as many if you are requirement, so you can define else if like, so the last we need to define as a else only, right? So like so these many conditions we can define. So if the number is equals to 200, or if number less than 200, and if the number greater than 200, or else if the number greater than or equal to or less than or equals to is 200. So this is the way we can define some conditional. And so the last one we will see looping concept. So how we can loop the particular value. So before going to like a loop, we need to write some syntax about the particular loop. So here we are in first we need to initialize some values, and after initialization we need to write condition, and after condition we can define iteration part. So once we initialize the values, based on the initialization value we are going to write a condition like it like we have 10 elements are available here. At ninth element we need to start the particular loop. At at ninth element we need to start, so the particular information we can define in our condition block. And the iteration what's going to do, so it's going to start from 0, and if you are iterating the value again it's going to start 1. So like 2 3 like is going to iterate, so we need to increase the iteration operations, right? So this is the way the loop on the for loop is going to work: initialization, condition, and iteration. So if you have any doubt on the syntax, okay. So now I'm going to write okay, the if block is completed. Now we are moved in the for loop. So how we can define the for loop? So we will see. So int x is equal to 0. So directly I'm initializing the values as a 0. Right. So what is the condition here? X less than 10. So as I said, so at ninth element, the iteration of the particular loop, it needs to start. Right. So now what I'm doing here, x plus plus. So using the simply we can print a message. So we can observe how many times the println statement is going to print. What we can write here, x value we can print, and close the particular block of this because it's open here and we need to close here. So why we are getting means the value is not incremental. So here x is equals to x plus 1. So this way we can use. So incremented value I'm assigning into the the reference of the particular x. So once the example is completed, I will explain how it's going to. Oh my god, nice. So again, we wrote this some code outside of the main method. That's the reason is like we are getting at some these kind of errors. So how many times this executing? From 0 to 9 times the values executed here. X value is 0, 1, 2, 3, like the value is increasing. So this is the way we can use the particular loop. So we have different types of loops are available. So we can see in our tomorrow class. So as I said, so this is an like some error we are getting, and I will also explain why it is getting right. So as of now, if you have any queries, you can ask
Hi,
me. So before going to conclude,
hi, Suresh.
just tell me.
Yeah, I think that error is caused just because we need to access the class variable only by initializing the class object, right?
This is also same,
We
right?
need to,
Like you are saying, like creating an object, right?
yeah, we need to create an
So
object to access the class variable, right?
this is what you
Inside
are
the main
trying
method.
to say, right?
Yeah, inside that main method.
Okay. Now, so like we need to and we need to access this the particular value. This is what you are trying to
Uh,
explain, like
yeah,
provide.
could you please remove equal sign after new?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Two.
Sys out num1 ex dot num1.
Okay. What is this?
I hope this will be.
But so my intention is I need to access this outside of the particular. Okay, let me check. Yes. But I will. Okay. Now it's
Because
working.
after main method, our JVM will stop working, right? So you
No,
everything is
actually, not.
the program will run within the main method, right?
Yes, correct.
Am
Okay.
I right? I
So
don't know.
instead of creating here, yes, it's correct. Instead of creating here, so we can create some method outside of method. We can call to find object. Directly, I'm accessing this variable. So it's correct. So here, uh, example is that class level variables we need to access using the creation of the object because as I said earlier, so these variables available in our heap memory, not in the stack memory. So these are comes under the stack memory. So inside the stack is trying to access these also, but it's not finding. But the num1 is available in our heap memory. So for this we need to create an object. So like so this is the way we need to create. Anyone having any doubts? Okay, so we can see in tomorrow, like we have the different types of looping concept. So we will see each one how it's going to work.
Thank you.